Welcome, everyone, to the latest installment of Gamer Headlines' Spoilercast. This is your one-stop destination for a spoiler-filled discussion on the best and worst moments from a recently released game, movie, or TV show. I, of course, am one of your co-hosts, Chris Cortez, and with me, as always, is my other co-host, Adnan Riaz.
Chris,
Yes.
hello.
So, as you guys can hear, Adnan, is still recovering.
Yeah,
We put him in the Bacta tank from The Empire Strikes Back, and it helped. It's good, but Bacta tanks need a couple of dips and stuff. So, but you're on your way, dude. Like
well, you'd hope so.
you're like Luke Skywalker at the end of Empire after his arm is cut off, but now you have like a sweet robotic arm, but you still have to chill because you gotta understand you might rip off your cock with your new metal arm, so you gotta be careful. I wonder if that was a thing for Luke. Okay, no, we're about to go way off topic. Anyway, as you guys might have seen by the title of the episode, today's spoiler cast is going to dive into Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, which is I guess it is the conclusion, supposedly, to the Uncharted series, or at the very least, the last game to be developed by Naughty Dog. And Ad and I have played it, and we have both completed it. And oh man, I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we're gonna obviously focus on the story, but the game itself as a whole is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's a really good game because I was never really a huge fan of the old Uncharted games.
Right,
Like I appreciate them and enjoy them, but this one, like for me, like if I was gonna have an opening line for a review, it'd be like the shades of The Last of Us,
right.
and it's just basically that. That's what makes it such a better game. You see in the shades of The Last of Us creeping into the story and really kind of like making it into this more well-oiled machine. Plot-wise, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely see. No, I agree with you. You could definitely see that.
But
The huh?
no go.
No, I was gonna say I agree, dude. I'm actually replaying the Uncharted series, and I'm like about halfway done with part 3 right now, and then I'm gonna replay part 4. But yeah, dude, playing through the series after playing part 4, you notice that the Uncharted series, there's always something that they didn't really take advantage of throughout the series. They're all great games. I still think Uncharted 2 is such a fucking good game. But there's something it lacked that I thought Neil Druckmann and Bruce Straley brought to the table of Uncharted 4. And you're right. I think a lot of it comes from The Last of Us, and the thing it was missing are those little moments, those little nuances in the story. That there's looks that characters give each, and the graphics are so good at this point of this gaming generation that a character can give a look to a character without any vocal, without a sigh or anything like that, and it conveys an emotion that you totally get. And I have to give a lot of credit to the directors and the makers of this game because they got that experience, those small moments they got from Last of Us, and were able to bring it
Yeah,
in a different way in Uncharted 4 while still what's it called, not turning away from what Uncharted 4 is. Uncharted 4 is, it's an action adventure game. They didn't strip it down of that. It still felt very much like you went on an adventure with Nathan Drake again. So that was great.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like overall, enjoyed the entire thing. Like it was really a breath of fresh air
Hmm.
towards the final hurdle. Uh, and yeah, like as I said, those that entire Last of Us shades really helped tying the game up in terms of story, characters. It was like the first game where, like for example, Elena and Drake were really more coupley
Hmm.
than previous games. Like you could feel the chemistry really bouncing off them.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. Plus, because, yeah, in part 3, because at the end of part 2, they become a couple. And then in part 3, it's implied, or not, it's not implied, but, they have wedding rings. So it's
Mhm.
implied that something happened. There's a dissonance in their wedding, in their marriage that kind of caused them
Ugh,
not to divorce but just fall apart. And in this game, yeah, they've been a couple for I think like this is 3 years after
three
part three.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 years.
so they've been together for a while, and you're right. It feels very coupley. Like they feel like they have that history, they have that relationship, and like I think that's actually one of the driving points of the game because there is no what's her name, Chloe is not in this game, so she doesn't really
Well,
you know
with Chloe though, I love the entire scene when you're in Nate's apartment
yeah
and you see all the references to previous games and like
so
the
cool
little gestures. It was truly like the love letter to the
yeah
entire series, like sending off in a really big bang. Crash Bandicoot Easter egg, cute, adorable, brilliant as well how they
yeah
program the game into the actual game.
yeah
Uh,
very
no, but like
Inception.
yeah, it was really funny. Like just commentary was like really charming as well at the same time. But like as all good as it was, like I mean, same with Sam. Sam was a good addition, but also at the same time it was like his brothers turned up in the fourth game. And it's kind of like there's so much like kind of like misconstraining like the entire plot with that. That his brothers turned up 4 years afterwards. 4 years, like maybe how many years has it been? 15 years or something?
Yeah, he I think it was 15, yeah, 15 years after he supposedly died.
Yeah, it's just a bit strange the entire brother scenario. And it wasn't you just saw on it, even though Boy Baker did well. But like the main problem was Nadine. She had no place in the game.
Yeah, Nadine was. So this is the character played by Laura Bailey, who we love. Laura Bailey, she's so
Yeah,
fucking talented. She's I would argue she is the no she's the female, like she has the same reputation that
Troy
Nolan
Baker.
North has or Troy Baker, right? But
Yeah,
for female characters. So I mean, she's just great. She's so fucking good. And but yeah, Nadine was completely unnecessary. You could literally remove her from the game and replace her with like a generic thug for each encounter she has with the Drake brothers, and the game would work. Like she added nothing
yeah.
to the plot, and that was such a fucking shame.
Pointless
Especially,
character.
yeah, like she seems such a there seemed to be a very interesting backstory with her, and that's what kind of like sucked ass. Like she seemed like a cool character, but we never really got that with her.
Yeah, because there's very little time she's on the screen,
Yeah,
and most of the time it's just a very interactive fight with her. So it's like, what what does this accomplish? There's no backstory behind this character.
yeah.
There's no meaning. There's no reason to care. It's kind of like she's just there.
I mean, and comparing her to like past, because we had Eddie Raja in the first game, and we had who was it in the? I forgot in the second game. Oh, in the second game
Lazar,
was Flynn. Yeah, Flynn.
Flynn, yes.
Yeah, to Lazarevic, and then in the fourth game or third game it was that the dude who was Marlowe's assistant. I forgot his name right now. Um, and yeah, each one of them felt like they had like there was like they felt more fourth dimensional or not fourth dimensional, but they had like there was more to them. Like Raja was like a cock that clearly had a background with Nate. Same thing with Flynn. He was basically another Raja if you think about it. And the dude who was Marlo's assistant in part three, like you could tell that he was almost like the Drake. Like if Marlo was Sully, then this is the counterpart to Drake. You know what I mean? But yeah, with Nadine, she was just there to explain why there's a PMC group and why this is there and that's there. When you could have just said Rafe bought a PMC group with the money he has, you could have just easily done something like that. So it's like,
Yeah,
with all the scenes with her, you could have added way more other like subtle moments. And it's funny because recently, not to get off topic, but recently you had showed me a few weeks ago an article from what's his name, Neil Druckmann, that he was saying some of the content that was cut from the game. And a lot of it seemed really cool, like that they could have put in this game if they had cut like Nadine from the game,
yeah,
So
very
it's
true.
yeah, like especially I love the sword fight. Remember that Nathan and his brother would have had a mock sword
Frustrating.
fight?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, that's
cool,
true. Yeah,
man. Yeah, great way to bookend, with the ending, which we'll get to later. Um, but yeah, I agree. I liked all the other characters though to kind of like round them all out. Sully was great. He was really cool. Rafe I actually really enjoyed as a villain. I thought like he really was like the dude that was one step behind Drake, and that pissed him off so much. Like
Yeah, but there wasn't enough time to really develop on that. You can still see the kind of like the shades of there wasn't really huge potential
hmm
taking out the villains. It was almost like Marvel syndrome, where these
yeah,
main villains were on screen for certain points, and more of the story was on just Drake's story and his
yeah.
brother. Like they were the most focused, and like even though he was kind of a cool character to have, he really didn't serve too much to the overall thing until the point where he's screaming like, "I was behind you," blah 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think that they just barely got past it because I liked them. I thought they were pretty good villains, but yeah, it did suffer a bit from Marvel syndrome. Not like too
Yeah,
much like Marvel syndrome because like look at Ant-Man for fuck's sake. I mean, that villain just no offense to the actor, but that was fucking terrible. At least here there was something there, you know. Also, dude, I have to say Hector Alcatraz, who we really don't even
yeah,
meet. Like it's like fake made up in Sam's head, Hector
yeah,
Alcatraz, but voiced by Kaz himself, literally Hispanic
yeah,
Kaz. He was great. Like I actually really liked him a lot, and I wish he was real.
yeah.
I wish he would have popped up in the third act. That would have been so cool.
Yeah. It's definitely a good way. Completely misled everyone.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that I didn't
Really
see that
hard.
coming at all.
No,
Like,
me neither.
yeah. So kudos
Well, I was
to
expecting you to
Chuckman.
set up and be like, Jonesy, I'm a double agent. Something like that.
It had right. It was like that kind of feeling, and
The
that's.
shades were there. Completely there.
Do you remember what I told you in the Monte Carlo when
Yeah.
you did that? Yeah, like I love that scene. Like when they're all like figuring it out. But yeah, it does give that vibe, and I love that, dude, because that's what this series is about. And again, going back to the fact that remember Amy Hennig, she's not involved at all in this game. This is the only Uncharted game, well, aside from the Vita game, I think, that she had like nothing to do with. She's busy making a Star Wars game, which I can't wait to see. But still, like they were able to like bring that feel while still incorporating the stuff they had learned before. So to take it back to like what we said earlier, it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Um, what do you in of the overall story? Let's get down to the story because we've talked about the characters and stuff like that. Um, I kind of thought the intro. We talked about this. How we felt the intro was kind of weird. Um, how
Yeah.
like so the game opens with like just like Uncharted 2 in a way where it's in the middle of the story and it's Nate and Sam, driving through a storm, uh, in a boat fighting other PMC troops on other boats. And then you have that scene where Nate's like ah, and he's about to get hit with the boat, and then we cut
Yeah.
to Nate again as a kid. But this is the youngest we've ever seen him, not like part 3 where he was a teenager. This is him as like a child, like probably like 10 years old or something.
Yeah.
And remember they're like, "Hey, we're going to go check out where our mother's stuff was taken from us." Then they cut to him in
Yeah.
prison, and then they cut to him now. And remember you and I were like, and then later on in the game they cut back to the hey, look,
Them
it's
standing
our
outside the house.
yeah, it's our mom stuff. And I agree with you. I think it would have been so much more epic.
Such
Um like especially how that sequence ends, remember? Like
a,
we'll
I,
be Drake, like
yeah. I understand what they were doing though because he falls off the cliff. And it's a good segment to plug in something,
yeah.
which is kind of a good part of the fan fiction, which is
Yeah.
how he got his last name. But it's no excuse though because the story is so all over the place. Then it's like I completely feel that happened.
hmm
It's like wait, what? It's kind of like just this is so strange that's happening now.
Yeah. Like you're right, it works, but it was really strange. And I think it would have been more powerful to have that scene where they're cuz what's their real last name? It was
Oh, I can't remember.
fuck, yeah, what was it? I'm trying to look here see if I could see it. Morgan. Their real name was Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, yeah, they'll be looking for Nathan and Samuel Morgan, but not Nathan and Samuel Drake. And you're like, oh, like it's so epic. And it would have, to me, dude, it would have been like if they opened the movie like that, and then they like cut to Drake now, it would have been the equivalent of in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when he's like, "You lost today, kid." But that
Jones.
doesn't mean you have to like it. Dun-dun-dun. And he puts the hat on him,
Yeah,
and then when he looks up, it's Harrison
punch to the
Ford.
face.
Yeah, like that would have been so like. I mean, I know, again, I know I keep comparing it to Indiana Jones, but how can you not fucking compare it to it? You know,
Yeah,
like that would have been so cool. But other than that, dude, I really did like how the story played out. Like you said, the Hector Alcatraz thing totally shocked me, and the game had really great beats of it stopped everything to give you the emotional character developments, and it but also gave you a lot of action, so things didn't get boring. Um,
yeah,
and it's at the game like the way it was filmed and shot because it's very they do this like a movies now. It's they knew their craft so well. All the actors knew what they were doing. They
yeah,
knew how to do this already, and they learned even more techniques with Last of Us to incorporate into this. I mean, this is like one of the best looking video games I've ever seen, and the story, like definitely is able to connect to that and utilize that to help it. It was
yeah.
great, man.